Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jane Brassington with Dolphin Computer Access. I'm the Sales Account Manager for Europe. And with me today is also Jake Rossiter, who is our Support Manager. And we're going to have a look today at Dolphin SuperNova. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you'd like to ask a question, please use Alt and Y on your keyboard to raise your hand if you're using a computer. Or you can also put questions in the chat window. We'll have a break halfway through and at the end for questions as well, so we can unmute everybody. Okay, so and we'll get started with that. So today's session is about the SuperNova combined magnifier and screen reader. SuperNova is the alternative choice for magnifier and screen reading. And this session was really aimed at advisors, assessors, and IT administrators who support people in larger organisations. I'll also mention that one of our distributors, Pappamire, is doing a session tomorrow at 11 AM on SuperNova Enterprise, which is our option for, excuse me, our option for remote access on Citrix networks and remote access networks. So that session's running tomorrow at Friday at 11 AM. Okay, so I'm just going to switch my screen here. So hopefully you can see that. Okay, so SuperNova is a combined magnifier and screen reader. So it's got full magnification features, full screen reading features, including speech and braille, and it's suitable for Windows 10 and Windows 11 devices, including tablets, laptops, desktops, and servers. And the thing that makes it a little different from other products is that we license by the user, not by the device. So if you have a user in your organization who needs to use a software on the desktop, and they also need to access a server, you need a single user license for that user. And at that point, you can offer the software to them wherever they might need it, as long as they're using devices that are owned by your organization. Obviously, if they want to use it privately at home, they can have their own private license. And we also offer licenses on USB. So the USB is a mobile license, which enables you to plug in and run SuperNova from USB at whichever Windows device you are permitted to run from. So that gives you some licensing options. So I'm going to again switch windows and switch my camera, and we're going to take a look at SuperNova itself. There we go. So hopefully you'll be able to see my screen there. There we go. So I'm showing you SuperNova today on a Surface Pro tablet. I have it set up on a little stand here. And you can see here, I can zoom in and out with my pinch. And I can scroll the screen very simply. Nice and smooth there. So I'm just going to, excuse me, introduce you to a little bit of the interface and talk through those things with you. So first of all, you can see SuperNova is a single application installed, and we have tabs for visual, speech, braille, and media tabs. Okay. We've also got profiles here. So if I show you here, if you pull down the list box here, you can run SuperNova as magnifier and screen reader, magnifier with speech for keyboard users, magnifier with speech for mouse users, or just as magnifier. So at the moment, I've got it as magnifier and speech, which means my braille options are grayed out. If I run it as magnifier and screen reader, my braille options become available again. And this is important because it just means that with one piece of software, you can really offer access requirements to any user who comes through your door, whether they be a magnification user, whether they be a speech user or a screen reader user with braille. With one piece of software, you can offer them all those different things. So we do have the software available as different products. So SuperNova Magnifier and Screen Reader is the full service product. You can also purchase SuperNova Magnifier, which will give you just the magnification tab with the media tab, which we'll come to later. Magnifier and Speech, which gives you these first two tabs, visual and speech. And then obviously the Magnifier and Screen Reader, which gives you all of them. We've also got Dolphin Screen Reader available, which gives you just the speech and braille tabs with media. So all those options can be run as a 30-day demo and then purchased. But for larger organizations, again, people who are helping a range of different requirements and needs, we do recommend the SuperNova Magnifier and Screen Reader. So the main differences we often get asked about is between Magnifier and Speech and Magnifier and Screen Reader. And the main difference is really Magnifier and Speech will read to you what is on the screen. So it'll read the labels of things and it'll read the text that you type. Magnifier and Screen Reader is a full screen reader that will describe your Windows controls and describe the status of them. So for example, Magnifier and Speech would say, OK. Magnifier and Screen Reader would say, OK button. Magnifier and Speech would say magnification on. Magnifier and Screen Reader would say magnification on selected checkbox, for example. So it gives you that status information and also offers you that information in Braille as well as in speech. And the real strength of that for multi-user organizations is really that you've got a common set of learning and a common set of training, and that the same hotkeys and the same commands can be used throughout. It's particularly useful for people also whose sight is deteriorating. So they can really start with the magnification, they can add the speech as they need it, and then they can graduate to the full Magnifier and Screen Reader. And in some cases, even later in life, maybe drop the magnification and just use the screen reading. And they don't have to change products. That product follows with them all the way through. You're not running different products, and you're not learning a new set of hotkeys. From the administrator's point of view as well, it also means you've got a single point of product management. So when it comes to deploying and bringing your software up to date and distributing the software, you're doing it with a single piece of software, not different pieces of software for different people with different needs in your organization. So let's take a little quick look at the tabs that we have here. So we're just going to go through the basic features. So looking here, I've got my visual tab. Again, I can control with a touch screen, so touch on and touch off. I can pinch to zoom. I can also do it with my keyboard. I'm going to turn the speech on here.
Speech on.
I hope you can hear that. So with my keyboard.
Magnifier. 2.7, 2.5, 2.25, 5.
So we go down from obviously no magnification all the way up to 64 times magnification. And you can do that, as I say, with touch, with your hotkeys, or with the mouse as well. So if I use the mouse here on the screen, I can pop my mouse in there.
3 point minus.
So the same application, the same controls, but different interactions depending on the needs of your user. We've got all the typical things you'd expect from a professional magnifier. So we've got our magnifier views, you can split the screen. We've got our color controls.
Color scheme on.
We've got highlighting. So if I want to use crosshair, for example, for mouse pointer, I've got my crosshair highlighting.
Application color scheme off.
I've got choice of mouse pointers, and then I've got some reading controls as well. So my
SuperNova control panel. Speech off.
So with my doc reader, I can reflow my text into another window. So the thing that I particularly wanted to show you here was also we have some nice controls for making the text nice and bold. And for sharpening the image.
Speech on. True fonts bold on.
There we go.
Magnifier.
that becomes particularly useful
Magnifier.
if I go into, let's say, a Word document.
Task switch. Test doc word. Test doc word. Dash even on another device. Doc. Speech off.
So you can see how we've got the text nice.
Speech on. Sharpening off. Sharpening on. Control. True fonts bold off. True fonts bold on.
So we can make the text nice and strong, and we can also highlight the text and sharpen the text to improve contrast. Okay, so going back to our control
SuperNova
panel.
Control panel. Page. Size 3 selected. List. True fonts bold off.
We've also got our
Connect
Connect and View button. So Connect and View enables me to use the camera. So I can either have an external camera connected to my device, or I can also use the camera built in. So on this tablet, I've got a rear view camera and a front view camera. So this becomes particularly useful both in employment and in education, where I know certainly my children still get handed lots of pieces of paper in their classroom. So if I want to have a look at that piece of paper, I can use the Connect and View camera.
Desktop one.
So here, I'm just going to lift up my tablet. I'm going to take a picture of the piece of paper that's underneath my rear view camera. There we go. And then I can zoom in on that piece of paper. Okay, I can change the colors on it. And I can also scan it. So I can take that to a scanner and actually read the text on it. So if I scan that text.
Scan and up and over.
Okay, so again, I can move this around with my touch screen. I can zoom in.
Left mouse button at a friend or family's house in.
And I can start reading.
Actions or just your value.
What's quite nice about this is I can also, as well as seeing the picture of the image that I've just scanned, I can also see the text that I've scanned.
Image view. Tip color scheme. Left mouse button.
So on the left-hand side of my screen, I've got the image, the camera image I've just taken. And on the right-hand side of my screen, I've got the scanned text. I can also add notes to my image. So if I want to annotate that image, or I want to fill in a form, or maybe complete an exam test or something in my classroom, I can actually add annotations to that as well.
Desktop one.
Okay, let's just turn the camera off there. There we go. Okay.
SuperNova control.
So that's the visual tab. We'll come back to some of those things in a minute.
Visual.
Now, obviously on the speech tab.
Speech page.
Again, all the typical things you'd expect. Speed and volume, character echo.
SuperNova control panel.
Text style and verbosity levels. And read from here, which is like a say all feature. On our Braille tab.
Braille page. Input.
Same thing, we've got our Braille output on and off. We've got our input. So if you have a routing buttons on your Braille display, you can use the input to determine what your routing buttons show and your status cells.
Braille display. Output.
You can control your output, so the kind of characters and the layout you have, and if your cursor is blinking or not. And of course, verbosity, high, medium, or low verbosity. So the amount of information you're getting on your Braille display. And again, what's quite useful is
Braille on screen button.
You can show the Braille on screen. So if you are a teacher, perhaps, and you're working with a student who reads Braille, you can see on the screen what they see on their Braille display. Equally, if you're working alongside a colleague and you're a Braille user and you want to share something with them, you can show them on screen what you're reading on your Braille display. So what's quite nice about the on-screen Braille monitor is that you can, when you change the colors,
color scheme on, color scheme off,
you can actually change the colors of the Braille monitor as well. So you can have it inverted, black and white, or white and black.
Braille.
The media tab is in every version of SuperNova.
Media page, SuperNova control panel.
So again, this gives you the opportunity for your scan and read. Sorry, scan and read is not in magnification only, it's in all the speech products. So if you want to scan from a PDF file, from some text on your clipboard, or an image that you found online that's got text within it, you can scan and read from here.
No selection menu.
So again, just as we did with Connect and View, you can scan from any file.
Folder, open file to plastics to scan and read, scan to file, scan and read, page range.
Okay, so I can
speech off.
I can either scan just the first page of my document or several pages if I've got a multi-page PDF. And again, we find this quite useful. Often in business, you might get a PDF where it's actually image rather than text. So you can scan that rather than try and read it with a screen reader. So this becomes very useful. The scan and read you can use to read text from, as I say, PDFs or images containing text, or also images that you've captured from your camera. So the SuperNova works with a number of professional cameras, including the Visual Ex Machina from Pappelmeier, which Pappelmeier will be showing you tomorrow in their session, and also a number of other cameras. It also works with a full range of Braille displays, so all the popular Braille displays are all supported, and so really does enable you to help any user in your organization, no matter what material they have with them as well. So some of the key features of SuperNova then that make it different from other products are in particular the touchscreen compatibility. So it's very, very simple to use a touchscreen. If I'm in a long document or a long web page and I want to scroll, I can just keep moving through with my finger. So let's just bring one of those up here. Okay. So let's put speech on.
Speech on. New tab Control plus T. Dolphin computer access.
Okay, so
Gmail.
Right in there.
Capital A. Your Dolphin computer access. Dolphin computer access. Automatic Dolphin cursor off.
Okay, so when the Dolphin cursor is off, I can just scroll the screen with my finger. I can move around the screen. I don't have to go into a different mode to scroll the page. And that's how a magnification user would use the website. If I'm a screen reader user, I'm using my Dolphin cursor.
Automatic Dolphin cursor on Dolphin computer access. Dismiss.
Then I've got my quick navigation key, so my H for heading.
Dismiss. Hello. Screen guide connect. Easy reader. Connect and learn.
And I can move around the web page using my quick navigation keys, just as you can with any screen reader. And I can also, of course, use my mouse. So if I want to scroll down the screen,
people with vision and
start reading.
Learn assistive technology kit that helps students.
I can click and read anywhere with my mouse as well. So it just means, again, coming back to the point that with one piece of software, you can help people to interact with applications and interact with web pages and documents in the way that suits them best, whether they're touchscreen users, keyboard users, Braille users, or mouse users. So I did mention earlier that we have a USB feature. So the USB feature means you can run the software from USB and you can plug it into any Windows 10 or 11 device and run the software from USB. On Windows 11 devices, you will need a driver, and that driver is freely available for distribution. The other tool that we have that's freely available for distribution is the whiteboard wizard. So again, I'm going to come back to our Connect and View page.
Magnifier.
So on Connect and View,
modes,
we've got options. So I'm just turn voice off.
Speech off.
So if I go to my Connect and View settings, I hope you can see that. I've got two options. So I've got my cameras, and this will detect any camera I have attached to my device. I can turn that off. I've also got whiteboards. Now, this is a utility that Dolphin provide, again, free of charge, and it's really useful for anyone on a school network where the teacher is presenting from the front of the class, or also in a business setting if you've got presenters. And rather than the person or the student needing to sit at the front of the class or sit close to the presenter, they can have the image of the presentation on their own device, with their own version of SuperNova, and they can view it for themselves through Connect and View. So our whiteboard wizard essentially creates a channel between SuperNova and another person's presentation from another device. You do need to be on the same network, but again, this is freely available. So if I go to my science class, let's say, okay, and now I open Connect and View. So now, instead of looking at the image from the camera on the rear of my device, I'm now looking at the image on a computer that's running in another part of this building, that's scrolling through a PowerPoint presentation. And if I just leave that running, it's going to start scrolling eventually. But it does mean I can, again, scan and read this presentation. I can zoom in on this presentation. I can change the colors on it, and I can make it comfortable for me to read myself. So again, it doesn't really matter if I'm a speech user or a magnification user. I can read that presentation on my own desktop, wherever it's running in the building, or even whichever device it's running on the network. So again, that whiteboard wizard, there you go, that's scrolling, that presentation is scrolling through, and the screen's just changed. So it's happening in real time, in live time. Okay, so so just to summarize what I've looked at so far then, so we've got a single product with tabs for magnification, speech and braille, all in a single product. We've also got profiles that you can run. So if you've got magnifier, SuperNova magnifier and screen reader, you can run it in a profile for a magnification user, a mouse user, or a speech and braille user, all from the same product. We've looked at the basic controls on each tab that you can use with either mouse, keyboard, or touch. And we've looked at a couple of key features, so the touchscreen compatibility, the connect and view, so connecting to a camera or connecting to another person's presentation. We've looked at the scan and read, so being able to scan from an image with text, a PDF, or something that's underneath your camera. And we've mentioned briefly the mobile utility for licensing, the USB license. So what I'm going to do now is just ask if there's any questions on that particular section, and then we're going to pass and have some questions with Jake. So let's just switch back to my other camera. So any questions in the chat on what we've looked at so far? No? Okay, lovely, thank you. Okay, so Jake's our support manager, and he's worked with, oh, we've got a hand raised, so Thomas has a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is this I forgot this. What's the wizard's name?
The whiteboard wizard, yeah.
Whiteboard, yeah. Is that an extra tool, or does it somehow, how does it connect with other software?
No, so it's a separate utility that you will install on the machine of the presenter. So if it's in a school, for example, you'd install it on the teacher's PC, and that will be the PC that they connect to their whiteboard.
Okay. And
then that creates a virtual tunnel between the teacher's PC and the SuperNova user on the same network.
All right.
And it's password protected. So the teacher or the presenter gives a password to the person they want to see the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay. If you want to send me an email afterwards, I'll be happy to send you more information about that. We'll put the email address up at the end. Okay. Any more questions on that section? Okay. So as I mentioned, Jake Rossiter is our support manager, and he principally now works with our dealers and distributors, and has lots of experience in helping people who are in multi-user environments. So Jake, can you tell us a little bit about the multi-user clients that you've helped and how they distribute the software?
Yeah, of course. Hi guys. So as many of you understand, COVID's changed our lives a lot over the past couple of years. And in a business environment, it mainly has changed the way that we work. So lots of businesses nowadays, they have different options for their employees to work from home or work from any other country or any part of the world, basically. So we've recently had a UK customer who was from a business environment, who got in touch with us with their IT team, looking for an easy way to deploy our software across the network. So our software primarily runs off virtual machines. A good example of this would be a Citrix server or a RDP server, which is a Microsoft server. And they asked how we can do this. So the way that we solved this was we sent them MSIs of our product. And with the MSIs, you also get a nice handy installation guide for different platforms. So obviously, main one being Citrix. They installed this on the administration side of their server, of their Citrix server, and they applied it to something called a gold image. This gold image is used primarily to distribute it across the server. So if you've got loads and loads of different employees, it will be kind of the main image that you'll use. On that, they installed the SuperNova, they installed the MSIs for the voices and the SAM, which is for the synthesizers. And they also applied their unlock code. So like Jane said earlier, we have a new way that we deploy our unlock codes, and it has everything included with it, including the multi-user license. So you won't need to keep applying the same unlock code for 50 machines, let's say. So what we did was we installed all of that, we put the unlock code in, and then we deployed it across their Citrix server. So the end user, in the end, just had to go home, log into the Citrix server. And once they logged into the Citrix server, they were able to use the software. Another thing that they also had was they installed it locally on their PC. This means obviously if you're using a SuperNova on a local PC and you're also connecting into a Citrix one, SuperNova is clever enough to notice that, and it will primarily bring the Citrix SuperNova into focus, so you can use both of them at the same time. But yeah, it's a very quick and easy way for our customers to work from home nowadays, and they don't lose that independence whilst they're working on their own at home without IT support being there directly. Obviously, if customers have an issue, we have integrated TeamViewer into the software, as many of you might know. And if they need our help, all they do is press Control, Shift, and T for Tango, all at the same time. And we're able to connect into the person's PC, and we're able to sort everything out for them. So that's one of the main ways that we can actually help, and one of the main things that we do in regards to success stories with installing on business networks. Has anyone got any questions on that, or no?
I think it's also worth saying that within SuperNova, you can really personalize the user experience. First of all, using the profiles, but then further using settings files. So if a user has a particular set of preferences for the way they work in an application, they can store those in settings files. So it's really very configurable.
That's it. And if needs be, if the user's got more than one PC, they can take a copy of that by exporting it through the file system in SuperNova. And then you can import it onto the new PC. So if you put it on the desktop, you can go to File, then Import through SuperNova, and you can import the same settings. So you'll have the same set of settings on both PCs. So it's quite handy.
Okay, thank you, Jake.
No problem.
So as I mentioned, the software really is very well designed for multi-user environments, and I did touch earlier on the fact that we do offer multi-user licenses. We do discounts for additional users. The maintenance is very straightforward. If you have a maintenance agreement, the upgrades are delivered via the internet and available for the administrators to install as and when they want. If you have a single user, obviously those can come to automatically as well. It's also worth noting that we have a utility called the Enterprise Config, and that enables you to manage certain features of the software. So if your security policy or your IT policy doesn't like the software to call home for updates, for example, and then you can switch a lot of those features off. So obviously a lot of the clients we work with have their own IT policies, and we make sure that SuperNova will support them in those environments as well. But again, if you would like more detail on that in German, then I recommend you check out the session from Papenmeier tomorrow morning at 11. So if I can just come back to yeah, so I just wanted to summarize with you then the points that we've made. The SuperNova magnifier screen reader is fully featured. We've got the smooth magnification and the highlighting and the tracking. It's really intuitive for touchscreen users. We can use it with multiple monitors, which makes for more productive workspaces. We make the most of camera combinations and scanning built in with the speech products to support your access for print documents. We've got full screen reading with configurable verbosity. So that means you can really configure the software to best support your users. You've got full Braille input and output, again with configurable verbosity. So whether you've got a blind Braille reader or a low vision person with just mild low vision, you can use the same piece of software to help all of those people. And then you've got the SuperNova USB for mobile access to local machines. This product is designed for distribution for multiple users with multiple devices. And our aim is to help you accommodate different visually impaired users across your network. This is a product that's very well proven in education, in government, in defence, banking, industry. We are an ISO 9001 company. The software is verified by Citrix and by SAP. And it enables you to deploy a single product with confidence to meet all your users' needs. Obviously, we can give you access to local and remote networks, thin and thick clients, all with the same product. And as Jake mentioned, there's one-step unlock and activation for all your workstations. We do include full technical support, and that comes from the UK, from our team. And we also have a network of dealers across Europe who are authorised and trained to give full support on Dolphin SuperNova. Okay, so that sort of concludes our session for today. If you are representing a charity, a training or a resource centre, then I do encourage you to go to our website. There's a link on the screen right now, which is tinyurl.com/dolfriend, DOLFRIEND, Dolfriend, and we are really keen to support any training or resource centres who are helping people with blindness and low vision. Any product or technical inquiries, please send to info@yourdolphin.com, and Jake and I will work through those. And we also really encourage you to complete the session feedback for this presentation today. SightCity have provided us with a link to that, sightcity.net/presentation-feedback, and the session code is 2102. So just finally, any other questions that people have thought about during the last part of the presentation? No? Okay.
Oh, we've got one hand.
Yeah, Thomas. Can you unmute, Thomas?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, here I am.
Hello. Hi.
I have a question. I'm relatively new to SuperNova, or what I've heard so far. I'm not so sure if I can. So if I distinct this correctly. So SuperNova is an all-in-one kind of screen reading and also magnifying product.
That's correct. Yeah.
So if I am only blind and don't need magnifying, what would I use then? I would just install the screen reader feature. Huh?
Yeah. So if you are purchasing the software or using software just individually for yourself, then you can purchase our product, which is called Dolphin Screen Reader. If you are part of a larger organization, you would advise your IT administrators to perhaps have SuperNova magnifier and screen reader. And in that case, you can turn off the magnification features, or you can run it in the screen reader only profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and if I have a demo disk, then I could choose which I want.
If you want to download, there's a free 30-day trial which you can download from our website, and it's fully featured, so it won't stop after 40 minutes or 30 minutes. It runs in full 30 days, cool. And then you can try out all the features in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Okay, so I would like to thank you all for attending and encourage you to email us at info@yourdolphin.com with any comments following this session. And again, I encourage you all to complete the feedback for SightCity using our code 2102. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.